The glamorous and often treacherous landscape of Los Angeles has just welcomed a formidable new player, and the shockwaves are already beginning to reverberate through the elite circles of the fashion and business worlds. Darcy Dillon has officially touched down in the City of Angels, bringing with her an aura of fierce maternal protection and a ruthless ambition that threatens to upend the fragile peace of the Spencer dynasty. Her arrival could not have come at a more chaotic time, as the bitter corporate war between Logan Creations and Forrester Creations continues to claim collateral damage. However, Darcy is not here to involve herself in the petty squabbles of fashion houses. Her singular, unwavering focus is on her daughter, Melissa Dillon, and the highly coveted prize that is the Spencer family fortune. From the moment her designer heels stepped onto the California pavement, Darcy's sharp, calculating eyes began assessing the battlefield, recognizing immediately that her daughter's hold on the young, vulnerable Will Spencer was far from secure. Despite the recent passionate encounters and the steamy, intimate nights that Melissa managed to share with the heartbroken Spencer heir, Darcy possesses an uncanny ability to read the unspoken truths hidden beneath the surface. She immediately noticed the lingering hesitation in Will Spencer's eyes, the subtle ways his gaze would drift into the distance, haunted by the ghost of a shattered relationship with Electra Forrester. Darcy, a woman forged in the fires of manipulation and survival, understands that physical intimacy is merely a temporary bandage on a bleeding heart. She can see right through Will's drunken vulnerability and the desperate rebound that Melissa has so carefully orchestrated. Will's heart, despite the devastating betrayal and the violent brawl at the bikini bar that ended his romance with Electra, still beats for the Forrester heiress. This undeniable truth is a massive, unacceptable obstacle for Darcy, who envisions a grand, wealthy future for her daughter that is currently dangling by the thinnest of threads. Melissa Dillon's evolution from a seemingly innocent, supportive friend to a calculating, opportunistic gold digger has been a masterclass in deception, but in the presence of her mother, the final remnants of her good girl facade completely crumble. Melissa has risked everything, her career at Forrester Creations, her fragile friendship with Electra, and her own moral compass, to secure her place in Will's bed. Yet, the crushing reality is setting in that being a temporary comfort for a depressed, spiraling young man will not guarantee her a permanent seat at the Spencer family table. Darcy recognizes her daughter's growing panic and the desperation that threatens to unravel their carefully laid plans. The older Dillon woman knows that in the high-stakes game of Los Angeles dynasties, one cannot rely on the fleeting emotions of a grieving ex-boyfriend. To secure the ultimate victory, one must deploy tactics that are irrevocable, binding, and utterly ruthless. The breathtaking architecture of the Cliff House, with its sweeping ocean views and isolated grandeur, provided the perfect, dramatic backdrop for the sinister plotting that was about to unfold. The crashing waves against the jagged rocks below mirrored the violent, turbulent schemes brewing within the walls of the luxurious estate. It is within this secluded sanctuary that Darcy decides to take full control of her daughter's destiny, dragging Melissa into a dark, unforgiving corner to outline a strategy that will permanently sever Will's ties to his past. The atmosphere in the room is thick with tension, a suffocating blend of maternal ambition and cold, calculated deceit. Darcy is not a woman who leaves anything to chance, and as she corners Melissa, her voice drops to a venomous, commanding whisper that carries the weight of a life-altering ultimatum. Unbeknownst to the conspiring mother and daughter, they are not alone in the sprawling Cliff House. Katie Logan Spencer, driven by her fierce, unwavering protective instincts as a mother, has been conducting her own relentless investigation into the mysterious and increasingly suspicious background of Melissa Dillon. Katie's maternal intuition has been screaming like a siren ever since Melissa began circling her vulnerable son. Following a trail of unsettling clues and trusting her gut, Katie finds herself quietly navigating the corridors of the Cliff House. The profound silence of the estate is suddenly broken by the hushed, urgent tones of Darcy's voice. Driven by a desperate need to protect her son from what she suspects is a calculated trap, Katie silently slips behind a heavy, solid oak door, holding her breath as she positions herself to eavesdrop on the conversation that will change everything. The physical act of hiding behind that door represents a pivotal, terrifying moment for Katie Logan. Her heart pounds a frantic rhythm against her ribs, the adrenaline coursing through her veins as she strains to hear every syllable exchanged between the two women. Katie has survived heart transplants, bitter divorces, and vicious corporate wars, but nothing triggers her primal, fighting spirit quite like a direct threat to her child. As she stands in the shadows, the chilling reality of the situation begins to wash over her. She is no longer just a concerned mother trying to guide her son through a difficult breakup. She is a soldier stepping onto a battlefield, armed with the terrifying knowledge that the enemy is already inside the gates, actively plotting the destruction of Will's future. Then, the earth-shattering words pierce through the silence of the room, striking Katie with the force of a physical blow. Darcy's voice, cold, authoritative, and utterly devoid of morality, issues a chilling command to her daughter. You must claim that you are carrying the Spencer heir immediately. The sheer, unadulterated audacity of the instruction leaves Katie paralyzed with a sickening mixture of shock and revulsion. Darcy is not merely suggesting a lie, she is demanding the execution of a phantom pregnancy, a cruel and twisted scam designed to manipulate the deepest, most honorable parts of Will's character. It is a psychological trap of the highest order, weaponizing the concept of family and responsibility to enslave a young man who is already drowning in guilt and despair. Darcy's twisted logic is laid bare as she continues to outline the sinister mechanics of her plan. She firmly believes that a fake baby, a non-existent Spencer heir, will be the tightest, most unbreakable chain imaginable to bind Will to Melissa. Darcy understands that Will, despite his recent violent outbursts and reckless behavior, possesses a fundamental sense of duty inherited from his parents. If Will believes he is going to be a father, he will abandon any lingering hopes of reconciling with Electra Forrester. He will force himself to do the right thing, sacrificing his own happiness and true love to provide a stable family for a child that does not even exist. Darcy's plan is a masterstroke of emotional terrorism, designed to permanently isolate Will from the Forresters and secure Melissa's position as the future matriarch of the Spencer Empire. Behind the heavy oak door, Katie is violently thrust back into the darkest chapters of her family's recent history. The sickening echo of the Luna Nozawa nightmare comes rushing back with terrifying clarity. Katie vividly remembers the agony, the manipulation, and the sheer terror her son endured when his serial killer ex-girlfriend faked a pregnancy to trap him. The trauma of that experience nearly destroyed Will, leaving deep psychological scars that have barely begun to heal. To hear Darcy Dillon attempting to resurrect the exact same tactic is a level of cruelty that Katie can barely comprehend. The realization that Melissa, a young woman who masqueraded as a supportive friend, is willing to participate in such a monstrous deception makes Katie's blood run cold with absolute, blinding fury. As Katie listens, she analyzes the devastatingly effective nature of Darcy's scam. A pregnancy claim, even a fabricated one, creates an immediate, impenetrable fortress around Melissa. It forces the Spencer family to provide financial support, housing, and protection, effectively neutralizing any attempts by Katie or Bill to cast Melissa out. Furthermore, it completely destroys any possibility of Electra Forrester ever looking back. Electra, already traumatized by Will's violence against her grandfather Eric and her cousin RJ, would view a pregnancy with another woman as the absolute, unforgivable final nail in the coffin of their relationship. Darcy has calculated every angle, recognizing that this phantom child is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction against Will's true happiness. The stark, horrifying contrast between Darcy Dillon and Katie Logan is thrown into sharp relief in this quiet, tense moment. Both women are fiercely protective mothers, willing to go to extreme lengths to secure a prosperous future for their children. However, their moral compasses point in entirely opposite directions. While Katie fights with truth, loyalty, and a desperate desire to see her son genuinely happy and healthy, Darcy operates in the murky, toxic waters of deceit, extortion, and psychological manipulation. Darcy views her daughter not just as a child to be loved, but as a pawn to be maneuvered across a chessboard of wealth and power. This fundamental difference in their maternal instincts sets the stage for an epic, ruthless collision between two unstoppable forces. Katie's mind races as she processes the monumental task ahead of her. She cannot simply burst into the room and confront the women. Darcy is clearly a seasoned manipulator who would instantly deny the conversation, spinning a web of lies that might make Katie look like a paranoid, overbearing mother. Instead, Katie realizes she must gather irrefutable evidence, a bulletproof arsenal of truth to expose this scam before Will is dragged down into the abyss. She knows she is dealing with professional con artists who have likely executed similar grifts in the past. Katie's investigation into Melissa's history must now pivot to uncover the dark, hidden secrets of Darcy Dillon, searching for the leverage needed to destroy their credibility and banish them from Los Angeles forever. The situation is further complicated by the fractured dynamics within the Spencer family itself. Bill Spencer, in his misguided attempt to help his son move on from the Forrester feud, has actively encouraged Will to pursue this rebound with Melissa. Bill, ever the pragmatic and ruthless businessman, views Melissa as a convenient distraction, a tool to sever Will's emotional ties to their corporate rivals. Katie realizes with a sinking heart that she will have to fight a war on two fronts, exposing the Dillon women's sinister plot while simultaneously convincing her own husband that he is inadvertently pushing their son into a devastating trap. The unity of the Spencer family, already strained by the launch of Logan Creations, is about to be tested like never before. As the hushed, conspiratorial whispers between Darcy and Melissa continue, Katie feels a profound sense of sorrow for her son. Will is currently a broken young man, spiraling in a vortex of depression, alcohol, and the crushing guilt of his own mistakes. He is the perfect, vulnerable prey for predators like Darcy and Melissa. Will believes that his life has already hit rock bottom after losing Elektra and being banished by Eric Forrester. He has no idea that the ground beneath him is about to open up and swallow him whole. Katie's mama bear instinct roars to life, a fierce, burning determination igniting in her soul. She refuses to allow her son to be sacrificed on the altar of Darcy Dillon's insatiable greed. The implications of this fake pregnancy extend far beyond the immediate Spencer family. The ripple effects will crash into the Forrester mansion, permanently altering the romantic landscape for the younger generation. R.J. Forrester, who has been eagerly waiting in the wings to claim Elektra's heart, will undoubtedly use the news of Will's impending fatherhood to solidify his own position. Elektra, heartbroken and betrayed, will be pushed entirely into RJ's arms, cementing a union built on the ashes of Will's manipulated destruction. Katie sees the grand, tragic tapestry unfolding before her eyes, and she knows that she is the only person standing between her son and a lifetime of orchestrated misery. With the chilling details of the scam permanently burned into her memory, Katie makes the agonizingly difficult decision to silently retreat. Every step backward, away from the heavy oak door, is taken with painstaking caution, her breath held tight in her chest to avoid making even the slightest sound. She slips out of the Cliff house like a ghost, leaving the conspiring mother and daughter completely oblivious to the fact that their master plan has just been compromised. Katie steps out into the cool ocean breeze, the crashing waves now sounding like a battle cry. She is no longer just a concerned mother. She is a warrior queen preparing to defend her kingdom against a siege of lies and manipulation. The war for Will Spencer's soul has officially entered its most dangerous and treacherous phase. Darcy Dillon believes she holds all the cards, confident that her fake baby scheme is an infallible trap that will secure the Spencer fortune for her daughter. However, she has severely underestimated the terrifying power of Katie Logan Spencer's maternal wrath. As Katie drives away from the Cliff house, her mind is already formulating a counterattack, a brilliant, devastating strategy to expose the Dillon women and protect her son's future. The battle lines have been drawn in the sand, and the upcoming confrontation promises to be one of the most explosive, emotionally charged showdowns in the history of Los Angeles. The storm is coming, and Katie Logan is ready to bring the thunder.